Hi everyone, Jennifer here. Today I want to talk about behavioral conditioning as it relates to politics and what we can do to defend ourselves. So in the news today, we were told that Congress and Bernie Sanders and Trump in particular have been notified that Russia is interfering on their behalfs. And, this doesn't mean that either of them are asking for this help. It just means that Russia is once again engaging in kind of psychological warfare on behalf of these two candidates. And I said psychological warfare for a reason, because as I was looking at and discussing this with people online, because I'm human and I have social media, I realized something really, really important. And that is that most people do not understand what exactly is happening and how they're being manipulated. And I think, one person said, oh, but they didn't change any votes. Well, that misses the point entirely. They don't have to change votes in a database. They can actually influence how people vote using behavioral psychology techniques and psychological warfare through the use of propaganda and other things. I had another friend who said, well, but this is a partisan issue. And I'm like, no, not a partisan issue. This is happening to everyone. Everyone is being subjected to this. It's not a partisan issue. Thinking that it's a partisan issue is one of the ways we say, well, it wouldn't happen to me. I'm not being affected by it. They're being affected by this. No, we're all being affected by this. And then another person said, well, what? Do you think people are stupid that they can't figure this out? Intelligence has nothing to do with this at all. We are all humans. We are all conditioned by the conditions we find ourselves in. This is ubiquitous. It's around us. Most of this conditioning is benign, meaning no one's doing it to us intentionally. But let me tell you, if someone does it to you intentionally, it's really hard to resist. For instance, if I wanted to train you and condition you to hum Dixie when you hear the sound of a particular bird's whistle, I could absolutely do that. And your intelligence has nothing to do with it. I don't need your consent to do it. I don't need your permission to do it. I can just do it without you even knowing it. And then you would hear this bird's whistle and this tune would pop in your head. You wouldn't know why it popped into your head. It just pops into your head. It's there. And you would just think, oh, that's interesting. I like the tune, whatever. You would not know that I had done it to you. And again, intelligence has nothing to do with this. Partisanship has nothing to do with this. This is what can be done using these techniques. When I started my company to teach things like how to end harassment and retaliation in the workplace using a behavioral approach, I thought long and hard about whether I wanted to teach this. And the reason I thought long and hard was because these techniques can be used for evil. Most of the time you're being conditioned, no one's doing it intentionally. They're not even aware that their behavior is impacting your behavior and things like that. But this is happening at all times. This is how behavior is learned. This is how behaviors are unlearned. So everything you do and are is a combination of your intrinsic personality and, things that you like and how you were born and your biology, but it's also a function of your learning. And learning is a function of behavior. And behavior can be shaped using certain techniques. I decided to start teaching this stuff because it's already being used for evil. You don't need, bad actors are already using these techniques to influence your behavior and what you like and what you don't like and what you want to buy and how much you want to buy it. Think about all marketing. All marketing is using these techniques, these behavioral triggers and, reinforcements and things like that already being used against you. Bullies, abusive relationships, cults, all are using these techniques. Governments are using them via psychological warfare. So we are already being targeted by people using these techniques. What we haven't had is a way to defend ourselves. And again, this has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with partisanship. 100% of us are being subjected to this. We are under attack via psychological warfare. This is what's happening to us. Behavioral psychology, psychological warfare. This is it. If I can make you hum a tune when you hear a particular bird song, then think about what sophisticated actors who have your entire posting history on social media, they have your voting record so they know when all you voted and whether you're a regular voter or just a periodic voter. They know a whole bunch about you. Imagine how they can manipulate you without you knowing it. Right? So that's what's going on. Do not think of this as a partisan issue. It's not. This is an attack on all of us. Your intelligence is not going to protect you from it. So what will? Well, the only way to not allow your conditions to condition you is to be aware of how conditioning works. That will at least give you a fighting chance. Like, one of the reasons I ended up in an abusive relationship, I'm a very smart woman, I don't take crap from nobody, still ended up in an abusive relationship because behavioral conditioning. We're all humans. We are all wired to respond to certain things a certain way. One of the reasons I am convinced I got out as quickly as I did, and with myself intact despite how hard it was to do this, is because I fundamentally, intellectually understood what was happening to me. That didn't make resisting the conditioning any easier, but at least I had a fighting chance, and I fought that battle and I won. If you don't even know this is happening, you're defenseless. Right? I can tell you from experience, it is extraordinarily hard to withstand conditioning even when you're aware of it. It's impossible if you don't even know you're aware of it. So I can't teach you that in this video. I have a ton of courses. Some of them are free. Like my Why Do Bullies Bully and How to Make Them Stop is a free course. You don't need to pay for that. But I do have paid courses. What is your problem? Do you have a bad bullying boss? Do you end up in conflicts that you don't like and want to figure out how to stop him? Are you dealing with a harassment situation at work? Tell me what the problem is, and I can help you learn these behavioral skills that will then also help you withstand and better understand what is being talked about when our security forces tell us we are under a psychological attack from Russia. Okay. So you can do several things simultaneously, right? You can help yourself in the short term, but you can also help defend, this is going to sound corny as heck, but you can also defend America by learning these things, because it's really disturbing to me, like as someone who knows this stuff, to watch people just go, no, that's not an issue. Yeah, it's an issue. It's absolutely an issue. So go to my website, humanistlearning.com. Choose a course. You can choose any of the free ones. I'd prefer you pay for one of the paid ones to help me do my work. But hey, whatever you can afford, that's fine. But learn this stuff. You are going to immediately be helped by it, because this is happening in all of your relationships right now. And you can control them better and use this knowledge to help you and others thrive and succeed. So you're going to be more successful if you know this. But also, you can help make the world a better place. Use these powers for good to counteract the people who are using them for bad. And that sounds pretty good for me. And yes, they work. We have 70 years of research on this, right? Like everybody, in my mind, everybody should know this. And if we did know this, we wouldn't be having these stupid conversations. Well, they didn't change any votes. How do you know? Like, how do you know your vote wasn't manipulated by this stuff that we're being subjected to? You have no way of knowing because of the nature of what this is. Not this, but this is the antidote. So hang in there. Hope is not lost. I'm actually a very optimistic person. There are fixes to this, but we need to educate ourselves on what the nature of this attack has been, and that it's ongoing, and what we need to do to fix it. And because it's a behavioral psychology attack, we need behavioral psychology to fix it.